Happy DocMas residents, and welcome to the Dr. DC podcast.
Oh, God.
My name is producer Richard, and next to me, straight, is the doctor.
Yeah, maybe not how I'd describe me, but... By the way, you tossed a coin to me.
Yeah.
I have no idea where it is. I've checked my pockets.
I've still got three more.
It's okay. I've checked the floor. It's gone, man. Whoa. Fucking shit.
I just did it again, and it's gone. It's okay. I've got two more.
It's gone. How is this happening? Have I finally become so big that my gravitational pull no longer relinquishes coinage?
Yeah, exactly.
Good Lord. Yeah. I don't know why I'm so famously bad at...
A man who's like worked with katana and...
Yeah, a katana is a lot bigger than a coin. Also not generally flipping it.
Nice.
Keep a pretty firm grip on that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You told me that you had a food story.
Oh, yeah. A shameful food story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a tale.
So I was out driving. I was just running an errand.
Uh-huh.
My wife and kid are at home. And while I was out, I was like, I could get McDonald's.
Fuck yeah,
You
bro.
know, I was like, I'll get the McDonald's. I'll eat it in the parking lot. I'll get rid of the garbage.
Absolutely been there.
And go home. So shameful. I mean, I shouldn't have to do that. I don't have to do that.
No.
I just...
you hate yourself enough to do that.
It's a lot of self-loathing.
Yeah.
I get the McDonald's. I drive to the Superstore parking lot, which is usually where I eat.
Do you have like a spot?
Yeah, kind of. And I park.
Yeah.
And car's still on because it's winter time. I try not to idle too much, but
yeah.
Car's still on. I'm listening to a podcast, and I open the thing up. I start eating. And then someone opens the passenger door and goes to get inside. And I was like, excuse me. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Wrong car.
Closed the door, walked away. She was embarrassed. It was fine.
Uh-huh.
I felt such fear. And it's not because I thought I was getting jacked.
Yeah.
It's because my first thought was, how did my wife follow me here?
You thought it was...
I thought it was like a sting operation. It's like, I got you, you fat piece of shit. You're eating a quarter pounder.
Oh my God.
That was literally the first thought in my head was like, how did she do this?
You need to put that into your stand-up.
I mean, I will, but isn't that so sad?
I love that your instant reaction is, oh no, my wife's going to see me eating.
I mean, you know me with my danger sense. I was in no way worried for my life. I was worried that like, this was like she found the tryst. Me and this.
It's not what it looks like.
I mean, truly, this is
I wish that was the.
This is like my version of an affair. It's like I know I shouldn't eat this.
I just couldn't. It started so normal. I was just going for.
I felt so ashamed, realizing that was the thing I was worried about.
It means nothing. I want your home cooked meals.
Like, is there a better like version of how I know it's wrong for me to eat so poorly than like, oh no, you found out.
Yeah, you know that it's a problem. That
was a real low point for me. And I say it was a real low point. It was 4 days ago, maybe.
Have you had McDonald's since?
No.
Oh, okay.
Since 4 days ago, no. I mean, this is a dry spell.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen McDonald's in 4 days.
Yeah, I'm not shaking because of the cough.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's the withdrawal. They got the new Carolina barbecue quarter pounder. That is what I was eating.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Was it worth it?
I mean, debatable.
Okay. Well, we've got another coffee to take, and it just finished brewing.
All right, let's do this. I'm so embarrassed. Christ. Yes, sir. I was waiting for that to just pour everywhere. Thank you, Jeeves. At any rate, moral of the story: I'm a fat fuck. We all hate ourselves. Life is pain. Happy DocMas.
It is number 8 and 7th coffee that we're having.
Yeah.
The episode is number 8.
Yeah.
7 coffee.
Yes. Yeah.
And this one is from the Congo.
Ooh, Heart of Darkness.
Yeah. Did you watch the movie Congo?
No.
It's a good movie.
But I have read Heart of Darkness
Cool.
by Joseph Conrad.
Sweet.
It's the book Apocalypse Now is based on.
Nice.
You illiterate piece of shit.
I did have a conversation with somebody the other day who's like, you don't even read. And I was like, I read comic books. And I was like, never mind. I
mean, to be fair,
yes,
reading is reading.
Yeah.
But also, like, read a book. Yeah. Read comic books.
Technically, I read graphic novels.
Read comic books as well. But, like, I mean, I'm also saying this to myself. I need to read more books. But
sure.
Who's got the time?
Exactly.
I'm too busy in the parking lot.
It's not what it looks like.
I met up with this quarter pounder I met online.
Yeah.
I get catfished by people pretending to be food.
Yeah. I'm so juicy. I'm waiting for you.
Yeah, this big like plate of sausage started messaging me. And
I've just never been.
I was supposed to not meet it. Anyway, it got my social insurance number.
Worth it.
Yeah.
I got some great pics out of it. All right. So this Congo coffee is on the lighter side for sure.
Okay.
It's like a 2 out of 5 if 5 is the darkest.
Okay. Right.
From the region of Kivu. The co-op or farm is called Bonobo. And it is caramel, lemon, and chocolate.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to get a little bit
Don't know what that means.
Citrus.
Still very hot.
Interesting. It's not my favorite. It's got a lot of like tastes of dark.
Yeah, I was going to say, for a lighter one, it does not remind me of the Ethiopian light one that we had earlier.
No.
It reminds me more of like maybe the Peruvian one.
Yeah, it's a little bitter for my taste, to be honest.
It's fine, but it's not, I think, maybe what I was expecting.
No, not at all.
I was expecting one of those ones where I go like, oh, that's like, there's something different about this. It's not just like coffee. It's like...
Yeah, it's sort of, I get all of those flavors, but not in a way that I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, it feels a little like flat.
Yeah. And just like, I don't really like the bitter palette on this one. Like, it's a little strong for me. I don't mind bitter, and I think bitter belongs in flavors.
This is fine. Like, but this feels like utility coffee. This feels like I'd get a big bag of this and I'd have it in the morning. And
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right.
Step up your game, Congo.
Okay, so with that, why don't we get into today's episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Questions come from Twitter next.
That's Twitter. Weird way to phrase that.
First question comes from our favorite religious representative.
Ooh, Chris Chan.
That's right, who asks, can you clarify the dispute between Ray Fisher and JL execs? I seem to recall Jeff Johns being implicated by Ray. Is Johns canceled now?
I mean, no, Johns isn't. I mean, certainly not by any reasonable definition of the word canceled.
Sure.
He's still putting out books. Some of them are quite good. People are still reading them. He's still involved in TV and film in various ways. No, not canceled. The Ray Fisher thing, it all comes back to the drama around Justice League when Zack Snyder was basically kind of forced out, but sort of left because of his daughter's suicide and stuff like that. Joss Whedon taking over. A few actors had complaints about Joss Whedon being unprofessional and, egotistical and sexist and all sorts of bullshit like that. That I think is relatively indisputable, but I think the bigger thing is that Ray Fisher has the stuff that he has said, which has been relatively vague, possibly reasonably, because, he's not presuming to name names of the people that are like witnesses in favor of him kind of thing, which is fine. has been saying that basically like Warner Brothers, the execs, fostered the sort of hostile, toxic situation that Whedon was in. And it's because they were up against a money thing. Justice League had to make money, They're like, this movie has to come out. It needs to be funny, blah, 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 blah. And that he didn't feel that they were taking like suitable action. In the case of Jeff Johns, he does cite having some meetings and stuff where like Johns had said like, we need it to be lighter. We can't have an angry black man at the center of the thing, or that had been said or something.
Sure.
Essentially what it comes down to is Ray Fisher felt that he was being dismissed creatively, that where Snyder and Terrio, the director and writer, were asking for input from him because he's the first black superhero and he was a central part of the story. We saw that in the Snyder Cut. He's a pretty central part of that movie. Mm-hmm. Then his part got almost entirely cut from the theatrical cut.
Joss Whedon.
From the Whedon cut, He, say booyah, like that kind of stuff. The stuff that he was like, there's nothing wrong with like the character say booyah, but Fisher had said something to the effect of like, it resonates different live action. Like if like no one else has a catchphrase, why does a black character have a catchphrase?
Yeah, it becomes a bit reductive, especially when it's the only like one of the only lines that they're giving out. Like
like Aquaman never went outrageous. Like that's his catchphrase from Brave and the Bold.
Yes.
but that's not from anything.
Yeah,
but yes, yeah, I know what you mean. And so there were things like that. Now the Johns thing. If I recall, there was an article that kind of tried to delve into it. The Johns thing had like kind of corroborating stories of sort of casual racism in the way, I think it extended to Krypton, the show, where he had said that someone's hair changing was a continuity error. And they were like, black people change their hair like all the time. This scene takes place like a day after the previous scene. It's fine. And he was like, no, that's not a thing. Like he was like explaining black, like I think it's one of those things where like he probably doesn't. I mean I'm probably giving too much credit here. He probably wasn't like I know black people, but like it definitely he was basically saying like I think I know how this will play, as opposed to like black people being like this is fine. No one's gonna bat an eye at this. There was also interesting because as I recall in that article, everything that came from like John's publicist was like remember he's Lebanese American. He was married to a black person.
Sure.
Like there was a lot of like that. How could he possibly be racist? I don't think there was any necessarily like mustache twirly like.
It's just more like sweaty.
Like
bumps.
let's have you say, "Hey, mammy." Like anything. I think it was just it's a, I know better than you. It's being condescending, being like dismissive.
It's almost that like worst.
And Fisher felt it particularly because this movie was going to sort of centrally position him, and he's DC's first black superhero on screen, and like there's a responsibility then. He was engaged in the creative process under Snyder, and then he was being dismissed there. Like there was a marked shift, and I think he's right that way. The Johns thing is a little tough to pierce through, but I think it was mostly that kind of stuff, which is not. It's not racism. It's not the mustache twirly thing, but in a way that's almost more insidious.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's that everyday racism.
What's that ingrained cultural racism stuff where it's like you don't even realize it's bad because it's just like the way things are, and I think that part's and I think just that also the idea that like because Johns and John Berg and that people were kind of he felt that they were enabling Whedon, that they were obstructing investigations. I think at one point Johns had said like, I wouldn't rock the boat too much this early in your career, and Fisher took that as a threat, which that's not an unreasonable it's not a threat. It may not be a direct threat from him, but more of like a acknowledgement of a threat. I
mean, you know what I mean? Like it's interesting because it's a lot of he said, she said.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have a reason to distrust basically any of the allegations against Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers is such like a historically kind of mismanaged bad company. But there's I don't know. It's tough to pierce the veil of this thing because then their investigation said they didn't find any like, systemic racism, but then they called into question the integrity of the investigation. It keeps going back. Essentially, that is it. I think generally maybe it soured some people's opinion of like Johns as a working partner, but no, he's by no means canceled. It never really got resolved in a way that like Johns is racist or something like that.
Not like what it was with.
I'm futzing a lot of the
with
details.
Like Loeb or something.
No, certainly not like that. Like Loeb became kind of cartoonishly villainous that way, but I do think it was tiptoeing around some of that, and at the very least, when your black lead of your movie comes to you and says, I, as the black lead of this movie, perceive that this is the way the black community will react to this, and you go, no, they won't.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Like, whether or not there's an objective truth to whether or not a thing is right. If the black person says the black community will see it this way, even if the studio is, if you're like, it's a rock and a hard place, the studio said we had to do it. You can't just say no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Even if you're the sort of person that won't stand up for your actors, which is bullshit. You go like, it has to happen. This is the only way. You know what I mean? Like, but it seems to be no acknowledgement of that. John's just kind of seems condescending and sort of, I don't know, like talking down and stuff like that.
Totally.
I'm sure there are more detailed reports out there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend quite as much time going over it as I might have liked before this. But yeah, he's certainly not canceled by any sort of measurable metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I'm going to go get food.
Oh. Okay, episode. You made me this way.
All you got to do is trust me.
All you got to do is trust me.
Just take a lasso and throw it on my neck.
I just want to have a look at you.
I piss my pants.
We're back.
Yeah, baby. We never left.
Did I just eat 3 sausages during the break?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, you can leave. Fuck yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Reddit.
Where everyone's nice, no one's ever mean.
And the question is from I Hate Pens and Pencils, who asks,
I'm ready.
Are you ever coming to Alberta, Calgary, the States, for fan meets? Asking as a Calgary citizen.
Interesting. Alberta / Calgary /
the States?
I mean, Alberta is the States of Canada.
Sure. Maybe that's what they were trying to say.
Yeah. Are we ever doing that for DocCon?
I mean, here's the thing. My brother lives there.
I'd be interested in going to Calgary. I don't know that I don't know that we're ever planning on making a trip specifically to meet up with people. However,
yeah, individual people.
If we're going somewhere, I'll broadcast our location at all times, and then you can just come find us.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it, right?
Yeah, just follow us on Snapchat, because apparently you can set your location.
I'm not on Snapchat. Oh God, that's bitter.
Ooh. Oh, you're finally just having that coffee? Yeah.
Well, I had it before, but I think because it's a little less hot now.
Oh yeah, it's not good. It's a bad coffee.
Yeah,
It tastes burnt.
I don't like that.
No.
Ooh. Oh, Jesus, Congo.
Yeah, it is worse now.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Gross.
part of it, though, is not enjoying it.
Oh, that's true. I guess we don't get to opt in.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what you think you're doing, but...
Oh, yeah, DocMas.
Yeah.
Are we ever planning on it? I mean, I would like to get down to Alberta for a fan expo or something like that at some point. You know, I think there's one that goes to Calgary, right?
Yeah. I think, but...
I've never been to Calgary. I've been to Edmonton a couple of times, so I've never been to Calgary.
Me either. But... If you want, come to Vancouver.
I do think we're going to try and go to a fan expo in Vancouver again next year. Yeah. And I would like us at some point to take a podcast trip to LA.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's going to happen at some point.
I think that would be fun. I think I have designs on a couple of things, not specifically for fan meetups, but I'd be totally happy to meet up with people if you're like geographically close to where we're going
Yeah,
for other things.
and we're in a public area.
Yeah.
And there's exits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to case the joint first. But, yeah,
Yeah, it's our choosing. Yeah.
yeah,
But otherwise, yeah, totally. We'd like to meet you guys.
yeah. You know what? Come to our hotel room. We'll be staying at.
I mean, hell yeah.
Easy, easy.
What's up? All right. Next question comes from the Doc Scored.
Oh, Said the dog scored to the little dogs. Do you score? A dog scored. A dog's scoring in the dark. It's a dog scores in the dogs. And the dog scored and the dogs.
All right. First question from the Doc Score. Comes from Ryan the Prime,
All right.
who asks, do you guys ever watch game shows or reality competition shows? I feel you guys would love watching Lego Masters or Face Off. Two shows that I have been catching up / rewatching.
I mean, I do. I mean, you know, Mrs. DC and I did a double kind of talking about. I tend to, most of my reality show content tends to be like food shows. Yeah, you fucking yuck it up, you piece of shit. No, I like watching like cooking, baking competitions and that sort of stuff. Watch a decent amount of that. You know, Great Canadian Bake Off or you know, Top Chef or Master Chef, things like that. I like watching those. We watched Dancing with the Stars this season.
Wow.
Because Shangela was on, the drag queen, and so my wife was very excited about that.
Love
We
Shangela.
watched that. But Wayne Brady was in there, and he was dancing with Whitney Carson, who I have such a huge crush on. I fucking love Whitney Carson. I used to watch a lot of dancing reality shows.
Really?
So You Think You Can Dance?
Yeah, I love
the
those.
Dance Crew. Like when that was like its real heyday, I watched those all the time. I don't typically. Oh, Love Is Blind. I'm obsessed with.
Sure.
But I mean, it's usually more like food cooking shows.
Yeah.
Because I just, it's a thing. It's not foreign to me, you know, and I like seeing like what people could do creatively and stuff like that with that stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I don't necessarily watch like a ton of reality TV. My wife likes watching Indian matchmakers.
Oh, that's a great one.
She likes that one. She was watching a lot of 90 Day Fiance, but I don't think she has been lately. I will watch. I like to watch the audition rounds of like The Voice.
Sure.
I kind of don't care once they get picked.
Exactly.
But I like seeing the people's initial impression.
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
Like that shit I kind of
Yeah.
enjoy. And I at least enjoy it on The Voice because it's a little less like, let's put someone shitty up there and make
Yes.
fun of. Like American Idol kind of gets like, I don't know, it's mean.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't really like that, but I do like watching like audition rounds on The Voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I like classic game shows. I'm not super into. Sometimes Family Feud is funny with like Steve Harvey.
I like watching. I mean, I watch so many Family Feud clips.
Yeah, those are funny.
Sit on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff I love.
Yeah.
But I would.
I like Jeopardy because I'm fucking old.
I mean, yes.
I love Jeopardy
Yes.
because I also just like to prove that I'm right.
No, a big surprise.
It's important to me that people know how smart I am.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No one here thought that.
What?
I used to love watching classic like game. Like there was a channel that you could get on with an antenna.
Oh,
that was,
I
like,
remember
retro
that.
game shows and
Yeah,
stuff.
I remember
I
that.
love those.
What, like Newlywed Game?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
I used to watch Hollywood Squares a lot.
Yeah.
The Tom Bergeron Hollywood Squares.
The Lego Masters is a weird thing because I know of that show and I have wanted to watch it, but
Because you're a huge Lego fan.
I am. But it's something about the way that they're doing is like, I'm like, this is not how I like Lego. Like,
Right.
it's just like watching someone like,
You're like, of course I'm going to use the 3/8 piece here because it's a weight distribution.
yeah, it's just like or like
I'm totally guessing. I've never watched this show. I have no idea what it's like.
I think I've watched a few minutes of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is not the way I like Lego."
It's just kind of boring.
Well, it's just like like a challenge to make something with Lego. I'm like, that's not kind of what I give a shit about. When I do Lego, I'm like, ooh, let's take something I already know and like I want to put that thing together. And then I want to look at it and be reminded by that thing, and I like the building process of it. But to watch somebody else build a new creation or something, I'm like, I don't really give a shit.
Here's the thing: there are people that are like incredible, at building things out of Lego and making cool sculptures and that. But I think there's also a part of me that's like, I know in a competition, it's like you got to do it quick, don't make mistakes or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what the setup of the show is, but that sort of thing. But there's a part of me that's like, if you fucking up, just undo it. Just move the piece. It's not like sculpting out of stone where it's like if you fuck it up, you fuck it up.
Or fuck it up. Or like out of glass or like baking.
It's not like they start with a huge thing and they're just taking pieces off until the sculpture reveals itself. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something feels like it's undermining part of it. You do still have to be obviously very skilled, but it's like the same thing as like, this is not a good analogy, but it's like, writing on a computer is pretty low stakes because it's just like, if I fuck it up, it'll autocorrect or I'll fix it or I'll delete it or I'll just cut the bit I want and I'll move it over here. But imagine if you were like partway through a manuscript, even just one big page or something, and you fuck it up and you go, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's just retyping a page, it feels like there's more. I don't know why I feel like that adds artistic or craft value or something, but I kind of feel that way.
Yeah. So no, I don't specifically watch those. I do like some game shows, but it's never a thing that I would ever like. That's a thing that like there's like I'm just hanging out and I want something passively. Maybe I'll put that on, but I would never like be like, I want to watch this game show right now.
Yeah, not usually.
The Voice is probably the only example, and I've really been off for like the last few seasons.
I like Wheel of Fortune. I like Jeopardy because I like games that like feel
you can guess.
Well,
yourself.
No. It's actually like I want ones that feel like they challenge me a bit. Family Feud is sort of fun that way too because you're like, it's not about being right; it's what would people say.
Yes,
and there's something kind of fun about that. Yeah. But for the most part, like a lot of those game shows, it's like, what is the fifth planet from the sun? It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's exactly. Like, man, the real indictment of the American education system.
Totally. All right, let's move on. We're leaving Reddit and we're heading over. Oh, nope, we're on the Discord and we're going to the next question.
Okay.
From Mullet Overlord, who asks, why is Martian Manhunter the only member of DC's Magnificent Seven that DC historically doesn't make an effort to keep a solo title in print for? Even Aquaman, who struggled to sell books for a long time, had 3 solo titles between Crisis and the successful Peter David run. Yet in the 30 years between his exit from House of Mystery and the Ostrander ongoing Our Verdant, Martian...
Verdant.
Oh, sure.
Means green.
Whatever. Martian was only allotted a 4-issue solo and a 1-shot special. Why does DC love short shrift this beetle-browed hunter of men?
Wait, when? Sorry, what was the time frame there that they gave for the Martian Manhunter thing?
30 years between his exit from House of Mystery and the Ostrander ongoing Our Verdant.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
maybe because he's the one that you can get rid of, and it doesn't affect the
easy. I mean, even Green Lantern has had kind of ups. I don't think it's that he can't hold down a book. That Ostrander run proves it.
Yeah.
I think part of it too is
this coffee sucks.
Part of it too is that Martian Manhunter isn't, you kind of have to sell it on the strength of the story because I don't think there's enough people that just want, the way in a previous episode I said, I'll just pick up an Aquaman book regardless.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough people that will do that for Martian Manhunter to just make it a given. And certainly the way that stories are done now, you need like a story, and that usually means 12-issue maxi series or like a shorter thing because, the last 3 Martian Manhunter stories, one has been a backup across 6 issues or whatever in Action Comics.
Yep.
One was a 12-issue series from Orlando and Erasmo, and one was a 12-issue series from was that Rob Williams, and I can't remember the artist. You know, they're finite. They have a story to tell. And it's not just like, well, Martian Manhunter's going to get published regardless, so just keep it going. You know what I mean? I don't know. Obviously, we'd like all characters to have more ongoing things, but at a certain point, it's just like, it's fine for a character to be like a little niche. Not everyone can be like everyone's interest. You know what I mean? I think it just comes down to that.
Yeah.
You know? God, I mean, you think of a character that like hasn't had a solo series in a while. Martian Manhunter's had a couple in the last few years, but like Firestorm, where the fuck's Firestorm?
Yeah.
You know, like I think there's other characters I would think of that are like, hey, remember them? Before,
characters that like had significant.
I mean, Firestorm had a
titles.
longer ongoing run when Firestorm had one, but the point is still, I think there are other characters I would expect an ongoing from before I'd expect one from Martian Manhunter. But he is notable because he is so prominent on the Justice League. But I do think in a way that's kind of how they skirt it.
Yeah,
he's a big character. He doesn't have his ongoing.
You can
but
just
cut
him out. Yeah,
I will kill you.
It's almost like he never existed.
Hand me a quarter.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with that?
I don't know. I guess I'll just cast it into the nether dimension or whatever I've been doing with the 3 I've lost today.
Okay. Well, that was the last question.
All right.
Which means we are finishing up this episode. But if you want to continue this conversation online, you can reach out to us through our various social media platforms.
That's right. We're either Dr. DC or Dr. DC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Hive, TikTok, Reddit, etc.
Yeah. We also have a phone that you can call, 208-917-3238, or DCEU if you're nasty. Why don't you give us a 5-star review and we will read it on a future episode of the show. We've got a Patreon you can subscribe to and get a bunch of extra content and get on that doc score we always talk about.
Yeah, baby.
Sing about. And also we have another podcast.
Yeah, Ghostfacers, a supernatural rewatch.
Yeah, you're probably already listening. It's wildly more successful. That's it for this week. Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.